Oh, myostatin. So as we get older, we get more myostatin, which is
Oh, good point.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It
So this would
inhibits
help.
muscle growth.
Yeah.
What they've shown in the tests with Katsu is that a session of Katsu will reduce the level of myostatin by 50%. So that's
Wow.
another way that it contributes to promoting muscle growth because it's reducing that background level of myostatin, which
Mhm.
inhibits. And as you get older, the levels of myostatin naturally increase.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is another reason why just using Katsu in a simple, passive, relaxed way is helpful to ward off that muscle loss.
So this would even work, for someone who's completely bedridden or an elderly person who's completely in a wheelchair or something like that. This could help them. Um, and
Absolutely.
I'm wondering. So when you, I mean, I can't wait to get Katsu. I'm gonna get it. It's see what the bank is looking like next week. But I'm really keen to get this because I think it's going to be very important to try this out because I really want to use it with all of my clients, right? And with how does it look? So when you put the bands on, are you connected
Here we
by
go.
wires? Are you connected? So
Well,
you're free to
we have
move,
two.
free to move.
We have two models.
Right.
This model is our basic model. It's a workhorse, and it
Mm-hmm.
does have tubes. And it simply turns on, and you can control it. The tubes attach to the bands on the arms or the bands on the legs. The other model has no tubes. The
Right.
controller and the pump is mounted right on each band. There are good reasons to choose either one. They
Right.
give the same level of therapy. Right now, I'll just put this
So she's
on, and you just simply
right.
turn.
Sandy's demonstrating how it looks for those that are on the podcast. You might want to go over to YouTube and have a look. Yep.
And then with my controller here, I simply run the program, and I'll show you when it goes on here.
And so you
And
don't
both
have to be
systems,
connected to wires and that.
both of them work very easily. And I'm going to put it on just one arm because I want to show you what it does.
So it's
Um,
super simple to use if you get the one without the
yeah,
wires.
yes, so you can hear it.
Yep. Yep. I can.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now it's inflating,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to let it run for a moment or two, and then I'm going to show you my hands because they will appear to be different color based on what's happening here. This palm's going to get pinker than this one. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see that
So you
difference
must,
yet.
if you're on the podcast, go over to YouTube. Make sure you go and subscribe on YouTube, and yeah, just have a look. So now your hand will be pumping up, and then the blood will be getting. So you'll have
There's
a
a
pump
little
in
more
that arm.
congestion. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a little more congestion in this arm.
Right.
So you can begin to see how this one is getting a
I
little
can see it
pinker than the
already.
other one.
Yep. I can see it already. Much more blood
Now,
flow.
we always want to have safety
Hmm.
as our number one goal for, anything we're going to try to do to help improve our health. We want to be sure we're doing it correctly and safely.
Yep.
And we have guidelines for the proper use of Katsu, which makes it completely safe.
Hmm.
And one of those is to check the tightness, the pressure that you're using. It's called the capillary refill test.
Hmm.
And when the band is running, you simply take the thumb and press hard at the bottom of the palm. And when you release, you're going to see a white spot.
Hmm.
See
Yes.
that?
Yep.
Now, this time we're going to count to see how quickly it refills.
Hmm.
Ready? 1/1000. See, it filled in less than one
Really
second.
quick. Yep. Yep.
If it was taking 2.5 seconds to refill, that means the pressure is too high for that person
Right.
or the bands are too tight.
Wow.
Because over time, with regular use, you're going to condition your vascularity to become more pliable, flexible, elastic, the whole thing. And you'll
Hmm.
be able to work with deeper pressure if you wish. You don't have to. But
Wow.
it means that over time, you're going to condition your body to be comfortable with it. So in the beginning, and always in the first session I do every day, I always use low. There's
Yeah.
no need to go higher. You can get basically the same effect. but you want to be sure that your vascularity is comfortable at whatever level you're working. This is the first time for me that I've ever had a way to purposely exercise my cardiovascular system without
Yeah,
running or doing
without
something
running.
else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's direct intervention
Crazy.
in that system. So anyway, so
And
we do that. You see the difference in the
I can
hands?
see that one hand is fully red and the other's white. In other words, it's got much better. So this must be really good for your skin. I'm just thinking too, because like,
Oh, you know, the estheticians in Japan love it because
wow.
it releases a much big boost of ceramides. Now,
Oh,
if you go to the fancy department stores, to the
yeah, yeah.
high-end
Ceramides.
cosmetic counter, you
Yeah,
will really pay up for La Mer, and it has ceramides in it
yeah.
because ceramides are plentiful in youthful skin.
Mm.
What it's done for my skin, I don't feel like I have any
You are
dryness.
amazing. Like
And
seriously, like your
I don't
skin
have
is
any tiny
amazing.
wrinkles,
Yeah.
and my skin looks pink and healthy. And they've done forehead tests where when you're running the Katsu, they'll measure the blood flow in your forehead. So
Wow.
we know skin is getting a lot of blood flow and the ceramides are going way up. So
So you don't need
that,
your
and
Botox anymore. You just go and get your
I've
Kaatsu.
never used that stuff. That's too poisonous for me.
Well, like what a way to, improve your skin without having to go to the beautician and have all these fancy treatments that
Well, your
cost the
skin
earth
will
and maybe
certainly
not
look
good.
your skin will look healthy and oxygenated and moist.
Yeah,
That's usually one of the
because it's just
benefits.
after a workout, but not everybody wants to work out every day and train that. And then the other thing was nitric oxide you mentioned. Now I've interviewed Dr. Nathan Bryan, and he's a nitric oxide scientist. And nitric oxide, for those listening, is it's produced in the body and it helps relax the blood vessels, right? And it's a very important thing. And as we get
Keep them
older,
elastic.
yeah, it keeps them elastic. And as we get older, we lose this nitric oxide function. We get uncoupling of the nitric oxide synthase gene, enzyme, sorry. And we want to improve our nitric oxide. So, I love Dr. Nathan Bryan's lozenges that he has that help do that. But this exercise also does it. It helps with nitric oxide. And Katsu also helps with nitric oxide. So anybody who's dealing with a poor circulatory system, or like I have a genetic predisposition to very poor vasculature. So our family are very prone to aneurysm, stroke, that type of thing. My mum's had one.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know that I have this genetics because I do genetics in my practice, and I love genetics, and I know that I have this extreme risk factor for aneurysms and strokes. So anything that's going to improve my nitric oxide, my cardiovascular, my blood vessels is going to be on, get my attention. So this is really important for those who are. What about blood pressure, Sandy? Is it useful for blood pressure?
Well, in a sense, it is. It's not viewed as a therapy for blood pressure, high or low,
Mm-hmm.
but from a mechanistic perspective, think about this. When you're using Katsu, it's dilating the vasculature all over the body, which naturally lowers blood pressure. So
Mm-hmm.
we expect after a session, your blood pressure might be down 10 to 20 points.
Wow, awesome. That would be great for most people who are dealing with, high blood pressure or things like that. But we've got to be careful what we say. It's not a therapeutic, but it is supportive of
Oh,
that. That's really
yeah.
good. But from a mechanistic point of view, it makes sense to me. Okay. I'd say. So Sandy, how often, so you've got them on the legs as well, so you can use them for your legs. Are they much more effective on the legs than the arms? Because to me, your legs are your big muscles, right? And your arms are
Absolutely.
small. Are they much more
Absolutely.
powerful on the legs?
And that's why in our typical full session, we request wherever possible that you start with the arms first as
Right.
kind of a warm, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's less blood volume.
Mm,
And then you move to the legs.
mm.
But if you think of that garden hose stretched out on the floor of your patio and it's full of water and you come and step on it, it's going to exert pressure in both directions, up and down that line. And it's the same with the bands here. People think often, well, it's just affecting my arms. Well, no, it's affecting the pressure in the whole vascular system. So,
Wow. So that, yeah, that's brilliant. And you can use them independently. So you can just do the arms and just do the legs. You can pick and choose.
Our recommendation is firm on that point. We consider it a misuse of Kaatsu if you try to use the bands on legs and arms at the same time.
Okay, so you do one or the other.
It's not a safe protocol. So we always recommend that you do the arms followed by the legs if possible. And if you have an injury or you don't have two arms or two legs, you can just use the bands on one arm or one leg, whatever you need for your situation and your training